We welcome you all to Jimmy John's Field as we prepare for a fine matchup between the Utica Unicorns and the Eastside Diamond Hoppers here today on a cloudy Thursday evening. Jeremy out alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring you the call here tonight, and right off the bat, because we might have some new audience members here today with the Utica Unicorns coming into the fold here today. We kind of wanted to talk about that new playoff format that's been rolled out. So essentially, this is kind of the start of the playoffs. We're calling it to push to the playoffs. Every team going forward, starting last night, has 8 games remaining. The double headers, which all feature the Hoppers and the Beavers, game 1, which is 5 innings, doesn't necessarily count towards the standings in terms of those 8 games remaining. Talk about what that means a little bit later. But it's now a point system. So 3 points for a win overall for each team. There can be ties in both the 5 and 7 inning games remaining. In the 7 inning games, if you tie, you get 1 point overall. So, you know, not ideal, but still big, I guess.
Right.
Better than the loss, which you get 0.
Reminds me of hockey back in the old
right,
days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there is a different feeling, you know, kind of when you arrive to the ballpark. Not that it wasn't competitive before, and that's not necessarily the reason we're switching this. The reason is because all the taxi squad players, all the rosters kind of floating in between like they did. They thought this was the best feel overall, and the Utica Unicorns do get rewarded, so settle down if you're Unicorns fans maybe a little bit and you think, well, hey, nothing we did in the first half matters. It does, in the sense that you are 3 points ahead of everybody to start the year. Nobody else gets awarded any playoff points up until this point, so you're a game ahead. And when you look at it, the Unicorns will also win any tie going forward as well.
Right.
So that's a big-time advantage.
So the Unicorns, basically, for their quality efforts in July and August, finishing in first place for that part of the schedule, they are awarded 3 points plus a tiebreaker if they end up tied with anyone, like you mentioned. So essentially, it's like having a game-and-a-half lead from the beginning. So coming into this ball game now against the Hoppers with the win yesterday. So for all intents and purposes, these teams are battling for first place today.
And mentioning about the doubleheaders as well, so the first game of every doubleheader going forward, there are 3 left, including in a couple days this Saturday. First game will be 5 innings as scheduled, second game 7 innings. The only reason why those matter for both the Beavers and the Hoppers, because those are the 2 teams that are going to play all of them going forward. That's just how it kind of shook out. Is if those 2 teams tie, whoever wins 2 out of 3 of those 5 inning games will win the tiebreaker for them. Say the Mammoths, you know, tie the Hoppers, or if the Mammoths tie the Beavers, that will be looked at in terms of runs scored. So there's some complicated nature in terms of the ties, but it all kind of makes sense, you know, going forward, I think.
It's very typical for minor league baseball to have some type of a setup like this because of how much the rosters change. Very similar to what happened in our league this year, although for a different reason. The rosters changed a whole lot. We didn't really have set rosters at the beginning. Each team had a little core of players, but the bulk of the roster was really made up of the taxi squad, where guys could be playing for a team one night and then against that team the next night. So for that reason, it wasn't really fair to run with the standings from those 2 months entirely. Now, September, we've got set rosters. We're starting from more of an even place between all those teams, and now a team like the Westside Woolly Mammoths has a real chance to be in it and fight for the regular season title and be that #1 seed going into the playoffs.
And if you're the Mammoths overall, maybe not a complete erase because you felt that you were pretty high. You know, I mean, you had your 5-game winning streak snapped the other day, but at the same time, they now feel that they don't have the weight on their shoulders of maybe having to win each night to feel that they can arch up in the standings. So that's a big thing, and we're really looking forward to see how this push to the playoffs turns out in the end. It's going to make for an exciting 3 weeks of baseball overall leading up to the championship series. And one more before we move on to today's game. That playoff format will not change, so 3 versus 4 will play each other in game #1 on Friday night,
right,
7 o'clock here on the USPBL network and in person as well. Saturday, the winner of that 3 versus 4 matchup will play the #2 seed, so they essentially get a bye to the second game, and the number 1 seed, whether that be the Unicorns or one of these teams kind of sneaking up on the end, will then, go on and play in the championship game without playing before that.
Yeah, you want to be the number 1 seed. You want to be in that championship game with a chance to set up your pitching, and that's important no matter what team you are. But I think for the Unicorns, it could really be a scary-looking pitching lineup for that game if they have everybody rested.
Sure.
Ty Hensley, Don Goodson, Nolan Clenny. I don't want to leave anybody out. They've got, Bobby Comitas. They got, 5-6 guys really that are really scary. So if they get to that championship game with the number 1 seed, it's going to be pretty hard to knock them off, I think.
And we say rosters are set. That's true and untrue. I mean, there's no taxi squad anymore, so that won't happen. It's possible that some of these managers and the organization in general can bring in guys based off injuries or just a need. We've already seen Jim Essian do that with 3 players over just the last 2 games that they have played in overall, and brand new one in the lineup here today, but you won't see Ross Haffey bounce to every team.
Right. I think it's going to be more competitive. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're in the home stretch. Everybody's got 8 games left, right? When you get down to the final 8 games in a baseball season, that's the big push. And it's like everybody's in it now. Everybody's competing for first place. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, let's check tonight's starting lineups as always, brought to you by AAA of Michigan. First, for the visiting Utica Unicorns here tonight, it's Frankie Leska leading it off once again and playing left field. Aaron Takis, the brand new fresh body like we talked about, had a roar of a start in the Pecos League, will play in right field here today and bat second. Dominic Bethencourt, Coley Curry, and Nick Snyder will hit in the meat of the lineup for Jim Essian's squad here tonight. Jordan Hovey bats 6, and then it's Seth Strong, a guy who we saw in his first game hit a home run in a big statement fashion for the Unicorns. Jordan Finney will follow him, and Ketch and John Hodo will round out the lineup here today for the Corns as they face Noah Goetze. Talk about him and the pitching staffs a little bit later in our pregame show. Over to the home starting lineup, brought to you by AAA of Michigan as well for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. It's the third baseman Anthony Maselli leading it off for Paul Noce. Adam De La Cruz in his characteristic number 2 spot down the stretch of this season. Xavier Warren, Zach Gray, Riley Mulholland, 3 dangerous bats in the middle. Greg Vaughn Jr. trying to turn his bat around, has 13 walks in total throughout this season, and a dangerous bottom 3 that you've seen kind of pick it up throughout the stretch run of this season as well. Trevor McKinley, a newer face. Jake Hoover, also a newer face, but Jordan Pontius starting to find it overall as they face Ty Hensley here today, arguably one of the best pitchers this year in the USPBL. Now time to give Dan Griesbaum Jr.'s keys to the game. What do you have?
Well, that guy's always a key, Ty Hensley. Whenever he's out there, that's a huge key. But want to keep an eye. You mentioned the new guy in the lineup, Aaron Takis. Certainly want to keep an eye on him. Right out of the gate, he's at the top of the order. He's a 23-year-old that came over from the Pecos League and was really tearing it up in that other independent league. We'll talk about him a little bit later as we go, but he was a pretty dominant offensive performer in that league to this point. So adding him to this lineup could be a really big key going forward. That's been the only thing that the Unicorns have really needed to improve on, is some of the offensive numbers. So as they fight things out for first place again, they want to beef that up a little bit.
Well, we'll have our pitcher comparison brought to you by Denso next here on the USPBL Network. Also talk about how these squads might perform going forward based off of what they have. The rosters are set, and we're excited to kind of bring you what these teams have down the stretch run in this playoff push. More when we get back here on the USPBL Network.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for. When you want it and how you want it. We're ready.
Crack open a Budweiser and experience the refreshing taste of summer. Make every moment of summer count by picking up Budweiser today.
United Shore Professional Baseball League action here tonight is presented by Budweiser and brought to you by these fine partners: AAA, Ascension, Balfour Property Restoration, the Detroit Medical Center, DTE Energy, Denim Sports, Dunkin' Donuts, Green for Life Environmental, Green Path Financial Wellness, Jimmy John's, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, Summit Oral, and United Shore. We thank all those fine partners for what they do for this league and the game of baseball as well. First pitch between the Diamond Hoppers and the Unicorns in the flip side.
They called it the 1,000-year flood. They were having homes and businesses flooded, and roads were being washed out.
My entire house is going to be flooded. Okay, do you have a second story?
A lot of fear that we were going to lose a lot of people. When we heard the police station was flooded, we immediately gave them our command center to operate out of.
Belfour was our savior. Sheldon and his team restored 25 of our businesses and more than 1,500 residences.
At Belfour, we're restoring more than property.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
Pitcher comparison brought to you by Denso here tonight. Noah Goetze toes the slab for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, Dan.
Those records look funny next to each other, but you wouldn't know it when looking at these guys. Noah Goetze is a top 5 type starter in this league as well. He's a very solid pitcher, as you can see by his ERA. Last time we saw him out in a start against the Beavers in Game 2 of a doubleheader. Pretty solid outing. Didn't get the win, but you know, looks good. 4 innings of work, only 2 hits. No earned runs, 2 walks and 3 Ks. Had good command, especially early on with his cutter. You know, which is a pitch that he has been throwing more and more, it seems like. Ty Hensley, of course, on the flip side, which everybody knows plenty about Ty.
Goetze didn't quite like his last start. He says everything was a little bit off, but happy that he was able to get the results. We have some guys that are hard on each other in this league. On themselves, I guess I should say.
Yeah. You know, the thing with him is a lot of his balls are the same speed. You know, between his 2-seam fastball and his 4-seam fastball, he throws that 57% of the time. But then if you mix in his cutter, which is another almost 21% of the time, that's 78% of his pitches are coming at about the same speed, which is in that range of 87 to 90 miles per hour or so. And you can be effective that way, especially if you command those pitches, and it makes it tough on the hitter because they don't know exactly what they're going to get, but you're not really keeping guys off balance a whole lot with that. So you really need to have precision command with those pitches.
On the season, a 1.93 ERA. First pitch at 7:03 is outside. Game time temperature here in Utica, Michigan is 82 degrees. Frankie Luska, Aaron Takis, and Dom Bethencourt. Your Zach Hart Agency 3-men due up here in the first inning. Here's the 2-0. Foul them back. There's a look at the flag. Boy, has the wind been a factor down the stretch here in the USCBL.
I don't mind it when it's blowing out. It's exciting. Get a few balls over the fence, hopefully. I'm sure these pitchers would rather not.
Well, Goetze is a guy who pitched his college ball in Colorado, though. So that's a
yeah, that's true.
a whole different dynamic,
Yeah.
and he's signed by the Colorado organization as well. 2-2 on the ground. First base side, Gray goes back on it. Taps the bag over at first base, 1 up and 1 down.
And that needs to be an important pitch for Goatse's too. There's curveball, which is 77 to 79 range. When he's throwing all those pitches hard, if he can throw that curveball for a strike, he's going to get some guys out front.
Take a peek at the defense behind Noah Goatse's here tonight, sponsored by AAA. It's De La Cruz, Vaughn, and McKinley in the outfield. Maselli and Gray in the corners, as you saw. Pontius and Hoover up the middle, with Xavier Warren completing the battery here tonight.
We talked a little bit the other day about maybe some options for Paul Nochi's lineup, and we talked about maybe De La Cruz going to the outfield a little bit, which would allow Maselli and Hoover both to play at the same time, and that's what they're doing tonight.
So the first at bat for this young man, slugged .687 in the Pecos League and 100-plus ABs. Takes a big hack at an 89-mile-per-hour fastball there and whittles it off.
Yeah, you look at that slash line that he had in that league. 386 batting average, 519 on base, 687 slugging for a 1.205. I mean, that's just mashing.
91 straight in for strike 2. And I say straight, but the spin was still good. That's about as straight as you'll see from Goatse's. 1-2, swing and a miss. 91 miles an hour and by him. 2 up and 2 down.
And welcome to the league, Aaron. We got some pretty good pitching here.
You talk about the spin overall for Noah Goatse's. RPMs, rotations per minute. Right around the major league average with his fastball, above it actually. Cutter at 2,300, curveball at 2,567, and the major league average for that, 2,500. So it makes sense why this young man was signed. They felt that he got away maybe from a few of the things that got him signed ultimate with his delivery on his lower half.
Right.
Focus much more on the upper half, and it's a little bit of quite a few moving pieces when it comes to this delivery, so they want to shore some of those things up again. But it's adjustments like this where he works a 1-2-3 inning in the first, which makes him a very hot candidate to probably move on again at some point. Good job by Noah Goatse's. We'll check Ty Hensley when we get back.
It's the Lincoln Summer Invitation Sales Event going on now at Crest Lincoln. Schedule your remote experience today or visit us here and learn what it means to have vehicle ownership on your terms.
Find some peace this summer in the luxury of the 2020 Lincoln Nautilus. Lease today for only $359 per month. Or drive in comfort and style in the 2020 Lincoln Continental. Lease today for only $361 per month.
Make a summer memory today. Visit us at Crest Lincoln in Sterling Heights or shop now at crestlincoln.com.
What makes Detroit Mercy so unique is the fact that it's in the middle of Detroit, and especially with their service learning programs, you really get a chance to be a part of the community.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
Good evening, everyone. It is time for the Senior Spotlight brought to you by Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union. Tonight I'm going to recognize Michael Polisi, who went to St. Mary's Preparatory High School in Orchard Lake. Michael has loved the game of baseball since he was a toddler, playing in his grandma's living room. His dream was to play baseball in college, and with a lot of hard work along with a great coach and mentor, he has earned that opportunity. Michael will be attending Cornerstone University this fall. Congratulations, Michael, on all of your achievements, and congratulations to all those seniors who are just about to start that brand new chapter in their educational journey. Once again, congratulations, Michael. Jeremy and Dan, back to you guys.
Thanks, Chelsea. Ever seen Cornerstone University's baseball field?
Is that the one that has the dorms kind of part of the baseball field? Yeah, I have.
Really nice.
Played high school doubleheader there with Grosse Pointe South once. I remember thinking to myself when I was there, I wonder if I would like that if I were on the baseball team to live in the dorm right there. On one hand, you'd think, yeah, that'd be really cool and convenient. On the other hand, you're thinking, maybe I'm on call 24/7 in that situation. Maybe might not have as much fun as you otherwise have in college, perhaps.
Ty Hensley having a lot of fun this year. .57 ERA. He's only given up 6 runs total on the season, just half of those earned. 47 innings of work, and healthy is another thing you circle when you talk about number 7.
Absolutely. Probably the most important thing. How about Anthony Maselli back in the leadoff spot? We haven't seen that in a minute.
You got to think some of it's because of his .379 on base percentage, 15 walks to 16 strikeouts coming into tonight. And that's something that we talked about when he was leading off really throughout the first month plus of the season, is makes good contact, but struck out a little bit too much for the leadoff position. But he's kind of settled down as he has moved through the gauntlet of different lineup changes, and he's back here maybe for the stretch one. We'll see.
They're definitely doing some experimenting. You know, I think part of it, in addition to the things that you mentioned, is the fact that Miles Miller's not getting on base enough either, you know, from that spot. I think that maybe the next step after this might be trying De La Cruz there again and just moving everybody else up in the order, but we'll see how this works out.
And De La Cruz's walks are also back up, 18 of them compared to 17 Ks. And we talked about it a little bit on last night's broadcast if you were watching, but Paul Noche's scratching his head a little bit that his offense is not producing maybe to what he thinks they can. You look at it, De La Cruz, Warren, Zach Gray, Riley Mahalik, Trevor McKinley hitting 7th.
Right.
Jordan Pontius, a guy who's turned it around at the bottom.
Sure looks like a good lineup on the surface, that's for sure. And they started out pretty good this year. They were in first place for a little bit at the beginning of the year and swinging the bat better than the other teams in the league, I think, but started to really level off.
Adam De La Cruz brings in a .263 average into play tonight. Has scored 17 runs. A lot of that has to do with his walks as well. Getting on base at a nice clip. Has stolen 5 bases when he's been out there as well. Fastball in at 90 miles an hour. It's a fastball that's averaged 91 this season for Ty Hensley and topped out at 96. We've seen him air it out at certain stretches during this season.
Be interesting to see what would happen if he were in a relief situation and he was only pitching 1 inning or something like that. Could he go out there and light it up 94, 95 the whole time? It's possible.
Fouls that one off at 90. But even 2 starts ago, you saw him pepper 93, 94, 95. In his final inning of work, I think at that point it was the 6th.
Right.
4 starts in a row without giving up a run. And that's 2 starts in a row where he's flustered after what he's put together.
It's kind of funny. He's had pretty much every outing he's been out there, he's been dominant, but some of them just have felt different than others, and it seems like he's been dissatisfied at times, even when he's thrown 5 no-hit innings.
Popped him a foul, and something that he's talked about to us that he wants to do in terms of his starts, quicker innings of late, better on 2-out hitter approach type situations. It was a scheduled 5-inning outing the last time he went out there on the 28th of August.
Right by him.
There's the first strikeout.
You got to respect his curveball, and when you're thinking about the curveball with 2 strikes, if he throws you a fastball elevated, you're just not going to catch up. Even at 92, which isn't his top fastball.
Now Xavier Warren can hit 3rd in the lineup for Paul Noche. Heavy clouds over Jimmy John's Field. It's looked like this for a few hours now. But the forecast doesn't read anything, so maybe just clouds.
Starting to feel a little bit more like fall every day, it seems like.
And what do you know?
Yeah,
we're going to have high school football.
Friday nights in the lights. Although it's not going to be quite the same atmosphere, I don't think. Sounds like there's going to be some restrictions on crowds and things like that, but still happy for those football players, certainly. I can tell you it would have permanently affected me if I missed one of my varsity football seasons. It's just something that you only get a couple shots at it and you never get it back.
And good for those student athletes as well. They've been put through the gauntlet in terms of we're playing, we're not playing.
Right.
We'll tell you in a week. This one is down the left field line, and not necessarily blaming anyone for what's happened. I mean, you look at even, you know, the quote fluid situation, which has become the new normal
right.
phrase among sports or among anything. Check the defense behind Ty Hensley here tonight. Sponsored by AAA. It's Luska in left, Curry in center, Takis in right, Bethencourt and Snyder on the corners, Hodo and Hovey up the middle, and Jordan Finney behind the dish. But that's got to be grueling as an athlete to gear up for a season while practicing, really not knowing whether you're actually going to play or not.
Especially football.
And then saying no, you know, that week on the Friday, you start practicing Monday. That week, Friday, they said, we're not going to play this year.
Right.
And then you still get to practice technically here and there. So it's like, is there a slimmer of hope? Nobody really thought so, but apparently we should have thought so.
Well, when you practice football, especially in the preseason like that, the only thing that gets you through it is dreaming about those games. You know, getting to the Friday night lights, as they say. And when it's unsure if that's ever going to happen, it's got to be a real drain on you mentally and physically.
Two-out base runner here. The single by Xavier Warren, and everybody thought that might be strike three, and the second strikeout for Hensley, but he'll have to throw at least one more. Gray, 257 in the average column, is hit for some extra base power, a pair of doubles, and 3 home runs. He's driven in 17. There was a time where his walks were well above his strikeouts. Not exactly the case right now, but wouldn't be surprised if we see him come back into form and it be at least even by the time playoff series comes around. In there for strike three. Tough pitch, especially off the hand of Ty Hensley to turn around 91.5 miles an hour. And he records his second strikeout here in the first inning. Time for Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Trivia here tonight. What is the official distilled spirit of the United States?
Oh, I didn't know we had such a thing. Well, I'm going to eliminate A and B. I feel like bourbon was already an answer to the previous question we had, unless I'm thinking of the wrong thing. But I'm going to go with C, gin.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Let's see. Bourbon.
Man. I had it down to the right, too, but what is with all this bourbon talk lately? I don't think I've ever had any bourbon, to be honest. I mean, Kentucky bourbon, I guess. Maybe is that why?
Could be.
Kentucky bourbon?
Could be. And I guess the in-stadium guy got it, so there you go.
Oh, okay.
They got it over you.
All right.
More after this on the USPBL Network.
With us, you can expect something more. More guidance.
Do you trust me, Mom?
More dedication. More commitment. So you can celebrate today and be prepared for tomorrow. Insurance through AAA. Expect something more.
Noah Goetze's out for his second inning of work here tonight. Turn to 1-2-3. First inning. Ground out off the bat of Frankie Luska. The strikeout to Takis, the new guy, and the fly out by Dominic Bethencourt, able to feed the zone with strikes. He looked good.
You sure did. We're gonna have a nice head-to-head pitching matchup tonight. I'm quite sure. I don't think that makes me a genius to predict that, but this game's liable to move along here pretty quick. These guys are tough, both of them.
Tara Hodo says, "Good day, Unicorns. Let's go." Chicago is watching here tonight. Gregory Carter chiming in from Oregon. Everybody getting in their player of the game predictions as well. Larry Kubiak saying player of the game Ty Hensley. I know that's a reach.
Do we have odds on that player of the game thing? Do you get less of a prize if you pick, an obvious one? Or
I don't know. Boy, that wind is still whipping straight out to right center field. And when we see it move, in general, that's the direction it's been going. That flag is taut. These hitters say, darn it, I got 2 good pitchers to face tonight.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy to hit a ball hard into the gap against these guys.
The wind was like this in BP yesterday, but it didn't really carry over to the game. Can't remember if it was the Beavers or the Hoppers, both of those teams going yesterday, but one of them were having some fun, and BP kind of little mini home run derby going on just because they were all going out.
I never liked swinging that way in BP. I just felt like it wasn't.
Chimed into left.
Nice swing. I just felt like it wasn't realistic enough. You have to. I always tried to accomplish something more specific than that in BP. Hit it where it's pitched, kind of thing, or try to put yourself in a situation. If you take too many of those home run swings in a row, I just feel like you're not actually getting ready for the game. Unless you're a guy like Ross Haffey, in which case, that kind of that is a big part of your game.
Ross Haffey is signed to the Mammoth roster full-time, so we talk about their playoff push. That could be a big credit to it. Big swing and a miss, or swing and a tapper by Nick Snyder. .235 average, has hit 3 bombs this year. I think the Unicorns would love to maybe see that average trend more towards 250 and hit some big runs down the stretch. Chased a 90-mile-per-hour tailing fastball outside.
Yeah, you can't chase that one out of the zone. It's hard enough when it's in the zone.
Spin rate of 2,500 on that. Kind of tumbling its way out to the exterior. Jordan Hovey, your Zach Hart agency man on deck, and then it would be Seth Strong. We saw him hit a home run in his first game here over the weekend. Here's a 0-2. Blocked by Warren, maybe still has a shot at it. And
good read.
Good job by Pontius as well to stay in front.
Good read there by Curry. He took off pretty much as soon as the ball got into the dirt. Once the ball's in the dirt, it's awfully hard for even a good catcher to block that ball, pop up, and throw the man out at second base.
Waiting on the 1-2 pitch. Holds an extra beat. Swing and a miss. Awkward there from Snyder for the second K for Goatsies here tonight.
Placed that one exactly where he wanted. Up and in on the righty. Looked like it tailed into his hands a little bit. Just really tied him up inside. And that strikeout, Snyder chased at least 2 of those 3 strikes out of the zone. That's, a big key for him.
Take a look at the YouTube monitor, though, and it almost looked like he was going to start middle in. Wow, they're going to go to third base here.
That was the wrong choice.
Hoover is hobbled.
Yeah, that's something strange happened there.
Maybe he had his cleat stuck in the dirt as he tried to heave it over to third base, and they're going to go check on him here.
A little bit of an awkward play, too. Yeah, he tried to pivot really quick, but he didn't have him. I'm surprised that he decided to go that way. Curry got a really good jump there.
Your momentum, I guess, sort of pulling you in that direction, but at the same time, you still have to turn at least a little bit.
Yeah, he had to do a hop turn similar to a second baseman sometimes has to do to throw to second, but it was an easy play to go to first. He could have just come in on it and easily thrown the man out at first base. It was an awkward turn.
So Hoover going to stay in the game. They do have Antonio Torres and Miles Miller on the bench, but neither of those guys really inclined to play short. I'm sure you'd see Adam De La Cruz come back into the infield and shift around maybe.
Right. Maselli go to short. Looks like he's all right.
De La Cruz at third, but yes, no, moot point for now. Big swing by Seth Strong.
Just from a baseball strategy standpoint, if they end up getting hurt here, it goes back to the old adage of take your outs when you have the chance. If they give you an out, take that out. Don't try to do too much with it.
Would have been 2 outs with a runner on third. Now it's 1 out and runners on the corners here.
Right. It wasn't worth taking the chance. You know, 2 outs and a man on third is still a very manageable situation for your pitcher.
One and one on Seth Strong. Popped him up.
That's a big one.
Wind might play with it, and it does maybe at the last second, but Pontius is able to stay true.
That was a big out there with a pretty good left-handed power hitter at the plate. Man on third and 1 out to get him to pop up in the infield. That's a big pitch.
And Dan, we've seen Jordan Pontius's bat turn around, but anytime you can play outstanding defense and real solid defense as he does, even if you're struggling, that oftentimes will keep you in the lineup and allow you to work through things. And in the case of Pontius, that's exactly his situation.
It has, and they've got some extra infielders on this team now, so they wouldn't have to put him in there if they didn't want him in there.
Hitting .280 in the month, pretty much the last month. I mean, 10 games in total, his last 10. Includes yesterday, obviously the first game of September, but turned it around a little bit with being more patient as well, and just getting on base. Here's the 1-0 from Goatsees. Line drive into the glove of Anthony Maselli at third base. So the leadoff single stranded at third base, as well as the fielder's choice with 1 out. Still 0-0. It's your DTE Energy Kid Race, the Mascot. There's Lancelot trekking out there. Going to go against Aiden here tonight.
Lance getting the head start today. It looks like a big boy.
Looks like it, yes. That's been hit or miss lately. I mean, we had the beginning part of the season where the young men and women just blew away the Mascots, and then they started giving them that head start, and they usually still beat them.
So I had 1 or 2 cases there where the Mascot tried to talk some trash and then got beat. And then we had the one young man whose name was also Aiden, actually, that decided third base was enough, and then he took off without crossing home.
And Aiden is going to speed by Lance here to the Get Code in your DTE Energy Kid Race, the Mascot here tonight. More when we get back at the USPBL Network.
DTE Energy customers can get their share of huge lifetime energy cost savings. How? By using our website. The Oslin's new programmable thermostat saved them a bundle. And their new efficient furnace earned them a hefty rebate. All over Michigan, people like the Oslins are saving. Why not you? There are always new ways to save at dteenergy.com/saveenergy. DTE Energy.
Ty Hensley back on the mound here for the Utica Unicorns. What'd you see out of him in the first?
Pretty typical. I thought he had a little trouble getting his curveball under control, so that'll be something to watch this inning. It had the good depth, but he wasn't throwing it for a strike quite as readily as we normally see. See if he can settle in with that pitch.
Seemed to be a little frustrated with some calls and no calls in that first half, or that first inning, as he walked off the mound. He gave a little look to the umpire. Then he had a conversation with your home plate umpire here tonight before the starts of this frame. So I'm not sure exactly what that's about. It could have been about the 2-strike call he didn't get on Zach Gray. because him, along with half of the middle of the infield, was starting to walk off the field. He did end up getting a strikeout looking to Gray and a couple more pitches after that.
Right.
2 in the first. He gave up just the 2-out single by Xavier Warren. Down low to Riley Mahalik. Low, 2-0.
That looked like the change that he threw on that last pitch. Oh.
Fly ball to right field, sending Takis back. He looks up and it's gone out of the berm. Riley Mahalik put a charge into one for his second home run of the year.
That was a nice looking swing. He did a nice job with his lower half there and his hips really getting out front, turning on that ball. You know, with Ty, you have to respect the fastball and the breaking ball, and he ended up getting a fastball that was a little bit elevated there. Did a nice job clearing his hips and getting the barrel of the bat to the ball, and it really jumped off his bat.
That's the first time in 4 outings that Ty Hensley has given up a run. It's been some kind of stretch for Ty. And that's no joke. You're talking about 23 innings.
Mm-hmm.
Outing of 7, 5, 6, and 5. Line drive to right, tagging Tack is back, leaps, and he's able to make that catch on the warning track. Boy, another sharply hit ball off the bat of Greg Vaughn Jr. at 87 there.
Starting to see some better looking swings out of these guys against Ty Hensley. You know, they're starting to see him more and more. This is a 4-team league, so when somebody makes all their starts, as Ty has, you end up seeing him quite a bit. They're starting to get a better feel for how to approach their at-bats against him.
It's only the second home run given up all year by Ty Hensley through 48 innings of work. Gave up his one and only one against the Mammoths on the 11th of July. So that's only, what, his second start?
Second start, yeah.
I'm not sure I was even here for that.
I don't think you were.
1-1 on Trevor McKinley, 257 in the average column for Trevor. And they think he can get better, and he can show a lot more power going down the stretch here. Paul Nochi said it the other day, hey, he's hit at every level.
I like a lot of what I've seen out of him. Pretty good looking swings, handles right field real well. Nice arm.
Riley Mahalik has shown in flashes that he can be a streaky and hot hitter, but if they can get him going down the stretch, that could be key to not only the middle of this order, but maybe kickstarting this whole offense. DHing again here tonight. He's been a DH and a third baseman.
Yeah, he's a guy who needs to hit with some extra base power. He needs to hit some balls over the fence. He has that type of swing where he tries to elevate the ball, holds his hands low.
Something that McKinley has shown as well in his few at-bats that he's had since coming here is he gives good APs.
Oh, yes.
Lengthy ones. Hensley got the better of him there for his third strikeout of the evening.
See if Ty starts to go with his cutter or his changeup a little bit more. For whatever reason, it looks like his curveball command is not quite there yet. He may just try to keep throwing that, see if he can establish it.
It came into play today only throwing the changeup 7%, the cutter 8%. And obviously smaller sample size, but gets a good swing and miss rate on both of those pitches.
Yeah, it's, you know, when you don't throw them very often, it's going to catch hitters by surprise a decent amount of the time for sure. We've seen a couple changeups so far tonight. It's always right around 84, 85 miles an hour.
2-0 on Jake Hoover. 2 for 12 start for Jake. Good to see him come up here for an AB in the second after falling down, trying to go to third base on the defensive end. Jordan Pontius, your Zach Hart agency man on deck here in the second. Here's the 2-0. Outside at 86. It's the cutter and averages 87 miles an hour on the cut. 89 has been his high so far this season. Couldn't control that one. Swing and a miss. Green light and a 3-0.
Took a healthy hack at it.
Fly ball to center. Curry going to the edge of the warning track with that wind blowing there. It's died down just a little bit since. But a good job to pull that down on a very direct path to that ball. Leadoff home run by Riley Mahalik. Ty Hensley able to strike back and retire the next 3 he faces here on the USPBL Network.
The difference that we bring to pediatric care isn't just the fact that we care deeply about our patients and want to partner with their parents in delivering the best care for their children, because a lot of pediatricians can deliver great care. What we do differently at Campground Pediatrics is we offer a different environment to deliver that care, and we offer personal service in a way that many practices can't.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
Welcome back, everyone, to the USPBL Network. So the third inning we go for Noah Goetze here. He's given up a single hit. That was to lead off the second inning. Did a pretty good job to dig out of it, though. A strikeout to Nick Snyder. Then Hovey got on. Pop out to Strong, line out to Jordan Finney, and that allows the bottom of the order in John Hodo to lead off, the second baseman. Hodo, Luska, and Tack is your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up. That fastball runs in quickly there. We've seen it run pretty well to his benefit so far tonight. 2-0 on Hodo. 7 for 27 start for John. Scored 5 runs. Walked a couple times compared to just 4 strikeouts. One's going to pop its way foul. Frankie Luska on deck. He grounded out to begin this game. Talk about Ty Hensley's curveball. He hasn't really been happy with it in a few outings. There was one time where he felt really comfortable with it and thought it had a really good break.
Yeah, when he's going really good, you'll see him throw it for a strike, and then you'll also see him bury it when he wants to bury it and gets guys to chase it out of the zone pretty readily.
Something that Goetze hasn't done a whole ton this season is walk a batter. He came in with a pretty good ratio, 20 walks to 54 Ks, so a little bit maybe above where he would like, but overall not too bad. 62% strike thrower. I take that back. I was reading Hensley's line. 16 walks to 29 strikeouts for Goetze coming into tonight. Here's the 1-0 to Frankie. High at 88. In the outfield again here today. We're interested to see how the addition of Colton Horner affects how much we see Leska catch.
Looks like he's not going to catch very much, just based on the early returns on that, because Horner's not catching today and Finney's back there. So if Finney's going to stay in the mix when Horner's not catching, I would think that Leska's probably going to stay in left field.
For the most part, for Ty Hensley all year, it's been either Finney or Antonio Torres, and Torres now on the other sideline here tonight and throughout the rest of the season.
So that's once a week, you know, when Ty pitches, and if Finney's going to catch for him every time he pitches, then Horner will probably handle the rest of those games.
And Jim Essian has shown that he's not going to fool around. I mean, he's brought 3 new guys in over the last week. Leska trying to coax his 9th walk of the year, but the home plate umpire calls him back.
It looked a little bit away to me.
Well, Dan, a 6-for-7 stretch in 2 games can elevate your average pretty well when there's not a lot of ABs in stake. I mean, Leska, all last week, 230 or so average. Now, entering today, it's probably gone down a little bit with the ground out, but he entered at 304.
Right. Yeah, all it takes is a hot streak at, you know, when it's a relatively small sample size.
He's driven in 8 runs this year. Has hit a home run. That was in his first game.
Oh.
And boy,
wow.
He touched that bag at second base as he turns it over to first. Jake Hoover.
That was nifty. Not sure if that was a classic hit and run situation or not, but the man was moving on the pitch, which caused Hoover to move toward the bag. And he ended up being able to field it while keeping his foot on the bag and had a nice, easy double play for himself. It was not easy from a footwork standpoint.
Checking the YouTube monitor, he definitely did touch second base. This wind has changed directions a little bit now. It's a straight left to right, so that's probably not going to benefit anybody. It's probably going to push it to fair territory as this one's hit straight into it. Left goes Vaughn Jr. as he makes the catch. And because of Hoover and the defense, they're able to strand a leadoff walk with ease, it seems, here in the 3rd.
Yep, with a left-handed hitter up there like that, Hoover's going to be the guy that covers the bag, and had a lot of presence of mind to have the good footwork there around the bag.
Down to Chelsea Estes on the field now.
It's time for the Michigan First Credit Union with JJ, the field general bat dog. This is when he gets to go bring the umpires some cold water and a nice cold rag to cool down just a little bit. He sits out there, but he will not leave until he gets a treat, and then he's going to go catch some Frisbees and impress all of you guys. But you know what? I have a very special JJ, the Field General plush toy with me today, and you can get your very own JJ the Field General plush toy when you go to uspbl.com and do the shopping tab, where you get JJ along with plenty of other great merchandise. It's getting a little chilly out here tonight, so you may want to take a look at some sweatshirts, hats, t-shirts, you name it, and maybe a fancy new gator to add to your wardrobe. All right, you guys, JJ, Jeremy, and Tan, back to you guys.
Thanks, Chelsea. 9-1-2. 2 up for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers against Ty Hensley in the 3rd. So all things considered, they hit some balls hard, and one 330 feet out of the yard for Riley Mahalik. Greg Vaughn Jr. hit a ball in the screws into the gap, and not too bad either for Jake Hoover. The big thing that we'll watch here in the 3rd inning is the curveball command for Ty Hensley, right?
It's very important. It doesn't matter who you are out there. You got to have multiple pitches going for a strike, especially when it's your best pitch, which I think the curveball really is his best pitch. You know, he throws a lot of fastballs, and he's got a plus fastball, but it's his curveball that is really noticeable when it's going good. So when he doesn't have that, it makes a big difference.
Jordan Pontius, the lone hopper not to bat so far in this game. Hit hard on the ground to Hodo. Handles it nicely. 1 up and 1 down. 4 straight retired now from Ty Hensley.
That is something that Ty has become very adept at, is getting some quick outs also. Some quick contact outs.
That'll help the pitch count any
Yeah,
day.
helps him go deep into these games.
109, the most pitches he's thrown so far this season. That was in the no-hitter. .74 his last outing. Five innings, no hits, no runs, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts against the Westside Woolly Mammoths. We told you that this is the first run he's allowed in 4 starts. Snyder bobbled, but has a lot of time to recover. 2 up and 2 down.
Fairly hard hit balls again, but his defense doing the job behind him.
Now Adam De La Cruz trying to break his 0 for 1, had a strikeout, 1 of 3 against Ty Hensley so far here tonight, back in the first. Strikeout to walk ratio now even, 18 walks to 18 strikeouts. Looping curveball, his best of the day.
There it is.
In for strike 1. Just hard to hit, lollipop. Second one, same spot, same result.
Starting to feel it.
Spin rate 2906. And that's not a rarity.
Nope.
For Ty Hensley. He averages 2,800. 0-2 trying to blow him away with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. It remains high.
He was going for it there. He spun a couple nice curveballs at him, and he thought he was going to throw the fastball right by him, but he just elevated it a little too much.
Defense all pretty far back with 2 outs and nobody on. Here's the 1-2. Outside, second straight fastball there. So it's these situations that I think Ty would like to get out of a little quicker. He gets De La Cruz down 0-2, but evens it back at 2-2. Throws another curveball. Did he go? Nada.
It's another good one, though. He almost got him to go. That's typically how he throws it with 2 strikes. Is it's a little bit lower and it ends up in the dirt. You try to get him to chase.
So from 0-2 to 3-2, who wins here? Hensley, and he's got a big fist pump after that one. Blows by him with the fastball. It's a 1-2-3 breeze of an inning for Ty Hensley as he walks through the breeze right now into the dugout.
As we continue to respond to COVID-19 in our communities, Ascension Michigan is with you in this, and we are doing what matters to keep you safe in our care. At our hospitals and sites of care across the state, Ascension Michigan has additional safeguards in place. We are limiting visitors, ensuring proper social distancing in our waiting rooms, offering more online visits, and performing rigorous procedures to clean and disinfect. Our care teams are delivering babies and performing surgery. Now more than ever, it's important not to delay your health care. Schedule your appointments. Make sure children are getting their vaccinations. And if you have an emergency, don't wait. Go straight to your closest Ascension ER. Thank you for continuing to protect yourself and our community by washing your hands, wearing a face covering, and social distancing. Our doctors, nurses, and staff are ready for you when you need us. This is what we do best.
Crack open a Budweiser and experience the refreshing taste of summer. Make every moment of summer count by picking up Budweiser today.
Jake Hoover, a big reason why Noah Goetzius was able to have a quick inning in the third after the leadoff walk to John Hodo. Really good double play. If you have a chance, go back and watch it or on the highlights later. Grabbed the ball, stayed on the second base bag, almost like a first baseman, while throwing it to first to complete a 6-3 double play.
And he was really, by the time he stopped his momentum, he was really past the bag too and had to Needed a little bit of nifty footwork in order to really get it on there in time, while still making a good throw, of course.
And that's probably key to know that he's okay after the play earlier, because that probably would have hurt. If,
I would think so.
He wasn't stretched out and good to go
Sure.
in the third inning. He'll face Dominic Bethencourt, Coley Curry, and Nick Snyder. Zach Hart agency, 3 men due up. Here in the fourth inning, bullpens might not be a factor here tonight. If these two guys continue to cruise along, Goatse's has the advantage in terms of the score right now, 1-0. 36 pitches deep, not too bad. And this is a guy who has dealt with some injuries throughout the year, or soreness, whatever way you want to put it. Been dealing with a sore back. Even after it was a shoulder, right, issue before?
And that's where some of those mechanical things come into play. You know, mentioned how some things kind of changed when he was signed by Colorado, and they started to do some different things with his lower half, and that doesn't always have a lot to do with your velocity or your command or anything like that. It may have just to do with how you feel and your potential injuries.
Had a good pitching duel his last time out for his Garrett Chrisman. Chrisman went a little further in terms of the innings, but Goatse's numbers-wise was right there with him. 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 run was unearned. Here's a fly ball to left. De La Cruz started in, now inching back with this wind and able to make the first out here in the fourth. That's 6 straight outs quietly now for Noah Goatse. He's only given up a single and a fielder's choice to go along with the walk in the third.
It's a little different seeing Coley Curry in the 4 spot. He's kind of made his way from top to this spot progressively over the course of the year. Let off a little bit, 2 spot, 3 spot, no 4.
We'll see what Takis does in terms of the lineup as the season goes on. He's hitting second here tonight. But he's another power guy. I mean, high on base, high powers. 519 on base in the Pecos League this year and a 687 slugging. So number 2 probably isn't all that bad for him. Not your characteristic number 2 hitter maybe, but.
Well, it's starting to change.
Sure.
The way that role is. You know, for a while when Miguel Cabrera was going really good, he got moved to the 2 spot for a little bit. A lot of analytics types believe the 2 spots where you put your best all-around guy.
Nick Snyder, a strikeout against Goatse's in the second. Slings an 87-mile-per-hour 2-seamer in for strike 1. Throws that 23% of the time, the 4-seam 34% of the time, and then the cutter, curve, and changeup follows that, with the changeup being the least thrown so far. Good line up the box off the cutter there for Nick Snyder. Cutter that had some decent action on it. Talked to both Justin Orenduff and Shane McCandy about some of the tweaks that Noah Goatse is trying to go back through, and Shane mentioning, along with a lot of guys in this league at this point, timing maybe a little bit off and just needs to stay in that delivery a little bit longer as well. But Justin talked to us in length before the game just about a lot of these guys and where everybody's at and who, what the expectation are if you want to return next year. Here's the 0-1 from Goatse's outside. But one factor, Shane, Allen, and Justin all do a great job with these pitchers, but they also have one less day to work with them just because of how the season is kind of lined up. So he talked about that and having it being a little bit of a frustration point.
Like getting a whole season worth of games just from July 1st on. Wow, that was an adventure.
Collides with the turf, but in the end, he is able to hold on. Nothing becomes of the 2-out single by Nick Snyder here in the fourth. Goatse's rolling along.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Giving you so much more. Hollywood Supermarkets, your neighborhood grocery store. Hollywood Supermarkets. Giving you so much more. Hollywood Supermarkets, your neighborhood grocery store.
All right, everyone, welcome back. It is time for the USPBL Reading Program School of the Game, brought to you by Hungry Howie's Pizza and CGC Water. Tonight, I'm going to recognize Miami Elementary in the Chippewa Valley School District. The teacher on the spotlight tonight is Miss Vinegar, and I want to say congratulations, you guys, and best of luck as everyone embarks on their new school year this year. Congratulations to Miami Elementary once again. Jeremy and Dan, back to you guys.
A nice job by Nate, our fine chef here at the United Shore Professional Baseball League, to finish the lyrics here tonight.
I don't know if he's regularly a country music guy or not, but he sure was enthusiastic about it. I enjoyed that.
Ty Hensley on for the fifth inning, or the fourth inning, I should say, the bottom of the fourth. He'll face the heart of the lineup here today, Xavier Warren, Zach Gray, and Riley Mahalik for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. He's responded quite well since giving up that one home run so far, Dan.
Yes, he sure has. Well, we knew he would. The big key, just from a pure baseball standpoint, was his curveball looked much better last inning. Started to command it like we've come to know.
What do you think Xavier Warren needs to do to kind of fully turn it around offensively? I know we've talked about, you know, how the effect of catching overall might have on this bat, and to the fact that he hasn't caught full-time really ever in his career, that's going to have an effect, right?
Oh, I think so, and he's really concentrating, I think, on his defense maybe more than he did at any other stage of his career. That could, you know, lead to him maybe not taking as many looks at his swing on video and not getting as many reps with the bat as he maybe did at one time. He had a really nice at-bat in the first inning here, though. I thought he took a fastball that was down and away, drove it to left field, a real professional-looking swing, professional-looking at-bat. And when he first got here, we saw a lot of that.
1-1, a laser to right, and wow.
Can't quibble with that at-bat either.
The attack is nearly underplayed that one, as the wind blowing a little bit in that direction, but that was just hit on the screws at 94.
Yeah, that ball had some backspin on it. It was rising. That's a scary feeling if you're an outfielder.
Is right field the toughest one to play out there?
I think it is. It's a lot of the toughest angles off the bat because you see more right-handed hitters than you do left-handed hitters, and the ball slices from you a little bit. It's also the hardest one from a throwing standpoint, certainly. Center field, in a lot of ways, you have a lot of ground to cover in center field, and that makes it difficult, but you get the best reads in center field, I felt. Just having that direct view behind the pitcher toward the hitter.
First pitch change of a ball to Zach Gray. Here's the 1-0. Fly ball to right, that's Keuring. Tack is going back on that one. Still going back, leaps, and he
got it.
He did, boy.
Yep, he got it, wow.
He didn't react much, so I thought he might have lost it.
You know what, I wasn't sure that he had it until Hodo gave him kind of a fist pump there. That was my first indication that he definitely had it. But that was a really well-tracked ball and a very well-timed jump.
Wow.
He couldn't have played that any better than he did.
Steals home run number 4 away from Zach Gray here in the fourth inning, and even more importantly, keeps the lead at just 1-0 in favor of the Hoppers here. Hensley nearly giving up his third home run of the year. What a play by Hovey as he stretches out, throws from his knees, but he can't get it to Snyder. Even if he got a direct throw, not sure he would have cut him down at first base.
Another good swing by Mahalik there, too, but That was a terrific range, but definitely a base hit all the way.
Greg Vaughn Jr. 0 for 1. He also hit it on a line to right field his first time up back in the second. This is a guy you like, right?
Oh, yes. I like his approach at the plate. I like that he doesn't chase very many balls out of the zone. I like his bat speed. I'm just kind of waiting for it all to show up. You know, it has in his on-base percentage because of all those walks, but the consistent results as far as base hits haven't quite been there yet. But that could just be a sample size issue. You know, it may even out over time.
His father, 355 home runs in the bigs. Hit 41 in an all-star year for him in 1996. Played for Milwaukee and San Diego at that venture. 1,072 RBIs. 284 career doubles and 23 career triples as well.
You can really hear that wind blowing around out there, too.
The effect on the trees.
At first, I thought it was raining. But then I looked at all the people happily sitting in the stands here, and I realized it wasn't.
I thought, you know, when we were actually talking to Justin up here in the booth, I don't know, an hour or two before the game today, that it was raining at one point, just because of the way the clouds looked. And
right.
They were taking BP and
another walk. Another walk for Greg Vaughn.
14th of the year, and that's something that he was not necessarily doing at the beginning of the year that he's adjusted well to. But again, seeing good pitches, part of having a good eye and letting that develop, is also seeing ABs in spring training and just getting the feel for it. Big swing and a miss by Trevor McKinley. He's 0 for 1 today with a strikeout in the second inning. Put together a pretty good bat, though, with 2 strikes against Ty Hensley. He'll battle with you against some of the better pitchers in the league. We've seen that so far. They're confident the results will show. Pitch low to Jordan Finney.
That was the changeup again. He doesn't throw that much, but he will throw it down and away to lefties a little bit.
Hasn't been able to throw that for a strike much so far today. He started that off against Zach Gray as well, before he flew out to right. Takas saving the day in the run. First time we've had multiple guys on base for the Hoppers here tonight. The Unicorns did that once with their first and third appearance. Maybe biting themselves that they weren't able to scratch across a 2-out run. The bullpen is deep for the Utica Unicorns, hoping, I'm sure, they won't have to use it much, if at all, here tonight. Hensley is 56 pitches deep as this one spotted into right field. Tack is going to have to come up and throw here. Coming around third base, Mahalik. That one's dribbling its way through. And now Greg Vaughn Jr. will take a little stroll across the third base bag, but hold up. That's a big insurance run here in the fourth.
I think they had a shot to throw him out there if that throw was on line, but it was just a little bit up the line and ended up not even really being able to make a play on that ball.
Now Jake Hoover trying to keep it going. Hit a ball pretty hard to Coley Curry. He had to cruise back to the gap to make sure that didn't float over his head. The message probably to all these outfielders today, if this wind continues, just play back, guys, right?
Yeah, keep it in front of you.
They're pretty deep right now.
I think it's safe to say these are the best swings that we've seen against Ty, probably the whole year. Although I personally missed the one game where the Unicorns had the long rally and he had to sit for a while. I know he had a little bit of a tough inning after that, but as far as consistent swings, this is the best swings I've seen.
And even there, it wasn't necessarily, you know, that they were hitting him hard. He just uncorked a few walks. The velocity went down just because of sitting more than 40 minutes or so. Fastball at 91, darted foul. So Hoover and then Pontius. Hoover is already the sixth man to the plate here in the fourth frame. Another one of your Texas prospects won the game in Game 2 of the doubleheader on Saturday with a walk-off hit. Curveball at 78 in for strike 2. So he's gained back that control a little bit more as this game has gone on. Curveball was his struggle point in the second. Still a very frustrated look on his face right now. Off the mask, a bad bounce for Finney. They're going to try to come home, and Greg Vaughn Jr. will slide in.
That was a very tough ball for Finney to handle. It's probably a 58-foot fastball to his right. It's going to be very tough to get in front of that.
So now a runner on third with 2 outs, and Hoover holding a 2-2 count. It took a wicked bounce as we get a second look on our YouTube monitor, and he stopped it incensed with his mask, but it was traveling, you know, so hard in the dirt in the end that
it was just too short. It made it bounce too high. Keeping one in front of you off the mask is awfully tough.
91 into the glove, and that is the end of the 4th inning here. Hensley able to uncork his 4th strikeout of the ball game. Now it's 3-0 Hoppers.
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
All right, welcome back, everyone. It's a little windy out here tonight, but I'm here with a mid-game break with Malik Blaze. This interview is brought to you by Green Path. It's a nice Eastside matchup today against the Hoppers, and they're only 3 games back as you guys are fighting for the playoff push, as we like to call it. But you've been here. This is your 2nd season. You guys are in the run for the another championship. What has been one of your fondest memories while being here at the USPBL?
Definitely making it to the championship last year was a great experience. As you can see, Skip has fun, but yeah, we really enjoyed it. We just gelled towards the end and just had fun doing what we did.
Doing what you do. You got Coley right here. You got a great Skip. It's good times. All right, Jeremy and Dan, back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. Noah Goatsees.
Is this a new mustache look for him, or did he have that before?
You know, I was going to ask the same thing. I feel like maybe he's had it for a couple outings, but I don't know that it's been the whole year.
Been growing over time, and I'm just starting to notice it. As my wife would say, I'm not especially observant, so.
Hard hit, but right to McKinley. That's just how it's going tonight for the Utica Unicorns. Jordan Finney, John Hodo, the next 2 due up here in the 5th inning, brought to you by Zach Hart Agency. Lori Strong asked, why are catchers on one knee with runners on base? Lateral movement is compromised on one knee. I'll let the catcher respond to that.
That's actually a newfangled thing that didn't exist when I was catching. Well, I shouldn't say it didn't exist. I would say it wasn't being taught. But I'll tell you, that's not an incorrect observation, in my opinion. It does definitely hurt your ability to block, especially in a certain direction. I think the thought behind that from a coaching perspective is that they're just prioritizing the framing, prioritizing the receiving of the pitch over blocking. I mean, that's really all that is. And you can debate whether or not that's a good idea. I think in the major leagues it probably works better than elsewhere. You know, high school it would work poorly because pitchers just throw too many balls in the dirt. Their command is not very good. But as you get into the pro level, it makes more sense because pitchers have a much higher ability to throw the ball where they're intending to throw the ball. So you're prioritizing trying to stick that low strike and give the umpire a good look at it, make him call it a strike.
It's the first batter that Goatsees has hit this season through 32 innings of work as Hodo fouls it off. Molina's the first guy we saw do that in the pros, wasn't it?
I think more guys did it in the pros, especially with nobody on base. You know, for a while, that had been happening for a while. But as far as doing it with people on base and in a potential situation where you need to block, that's been more of a recent phenomenon, I think. And again, I wouldn't disagree with anyone who wants to debate it. It's just a matter of what do you want to prioritize. Is it sticking that low strike and receiving as well as possible, or is it being able to block?
0-2, fly ball to right. McKinley for out number 2. It seems like every time McKinley gets a ball, it's in the gap in left center field, so he probably says thank you on those two, that he doesn't have to do too much.
Yeah, he's gone pretty hard toward the bullpen on a couple balls too, but yeah, he's got a couple easy ones out of the way today.
Well, Goatsees in his career, when you look at his Division I stats at Regis and his time in the minor leagues last year in 2019 with Grand Junction, 58 walks to 252 strikeouts. So his command and control has always been there. And even combined in his career, he's done a really good job at limiting hit by pitches. I mean, we told you that's his first this year. Didn't have any in 15 innings in the minor leagues last year.
Right.
Early on in his college career, though, it was something he struggled with his sophomore and junior year. 8 hit batters and 7 consecutively. Boy, these are some ominous clouds.
They sure are.
Goodness gracious.
We don't have any reports of pending issues, though. Knock on wood.
Swing and a miss by Frankie Luska. Again, Goatsees able to strand only one that he allows here in the 5th inning. His team with a big 3-0 lead, it feels like.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
When you need emergency care, you want your hospital to be ready for whatever comes through the door. Ready for any injury and any illness. Ready to respond at the speed of emergencies. That's why McLaren Macomb built a new emergency department with advanced technology, clinical expertise, and 68 private exam rooms. We're Macomb County's largest emergency department, and we're ready for you whenever you need us. That's emergency care at McLaren Macomb. That's doing what's best.
All right, everyone, it's time for me to recognize a kid of the game brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Today I'm going to recognize Dominic Carpenter, who is 12 years old. He attends Romeo Middle School, and of course, his favorite activity is baseball. He is part of the USPBL Kids Club, and you know what? We may even see Dominic on the field one day here at Jimmy John's Field. Congratulations, Dominic Carpenter, for being the kid of the game. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. Welcome back to the broadcast booth here on the USPBL Network. Say hello to everyone watching here tonight. Brian Boleski and Lynette Olenichek watching here today. Say hello to them and everybody else chiming in on Facebook and YouTube. Jarrett Webb, Monette Curry, Tara Hodo, Annette Atkins, Roger Moon on Facebook as well. Jeremy Otto alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring you the call here tonight. You ever think you'd be here with me?
No, I didn't. I never thought I'd be in any broadcast booth whatsoever. It took a worldwide pandemic, so.
It's better to be doing something than nothing, though, right?
Absolutely. Oh, it's been terrific. I think this is the best thing to do during a baseball game.
Jordan Pontius, Anthony Maselli, Adam De La Cruz, your Zach Hart agency, 3 men due up as this one poked into right.
Just dropped the head of the bat down on it, didn't try to do too much.
So do you coach first or third? Probably first.
Me first, as an assistant coach. Yeah, my father still coaches third at this stage. Some give up coaching third after they get to a certain stage, but he still wants to do it.
You're going to be analyzing from first base this spring, maybe?
It'll be interesting to see if somebody says, "Why are you talking so much more this year?"
Top 2 in the order today, that's Maselli and De La Cruz, a combined 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts, both of those to Adam, trying to change that and add some more AAA insurance run. There's another high bouncer, and Finney had a tough time tracking it, and Pontius with an easy scramble to second base.
You know, speaking of high school baseball, the first thing I thought of today was how will these fall practices now look different?
Sure.
You know, with football now going. Could affect it in many ways. In some cases, there's outdoor field space being shared. Certainly athletes being shared.
I'm wondering, how this weird start is going to affect play in general. Obviously, there's so many factors that are going to have to be put into the field of play, and we don't exactly know what that looks like at the high school level because you have less resources in general. Obviously, we've talked about the fans almost being non-existent. I saw a figure today of 100 people in the stadium. Now, I haven't gotten clarification on that's 100 people, so that means both teams and everybody. For some teams, that's not possible.
Right. I think that assumption is made just based on previous order about outdoor venues. I think they're going to have to come up with something more specific than that applies to outdoor football games.
And you're starting to see some of the things starting to open up again. Movie theaters maybe expected to open up here in Michigan here today. It didn't happen, but gyms, a big story, are open. Bowling alleys, I believe, are allowed too.
I didn't hear about the bowling alleys. Is that correct?
I don't know. I mean, I think that they were classifying bowling alleys and gyms in the same, but they were also kind of classifying movie theaters in the same, and then that didn't work out.
I'll tell you, 100 people at a high school football game, that's not many. That's obviously just one parent per kid or something of that nature at most of these games. So that's hard. Even if you're not counting the staff, even if it's just spectators, that's not very many.
76-mile-per-hour curveball reigns inside.
I assume that'll be another one of those things they'll have to address. It's been a very slow go, and we've experienced that in this league too. Different things come up, and you're waiting for answers, and some of the answers make sense, and some of them don't, and it can be very frustrating.
90-mile-per-hour fastball in for strike 1. Five hits for the Hoppers thus far against Hensley.
And there's different types of events that have different rules too. That's part of it. If you had a football game at UAD Jesuit and they said only 100 people could be in the stands, that may be true for the football game. But if you had a church service at UAD Jesuit in those same stands, it would be a much, much higher threshold of people that would be allowed. Which, on the surface, does that make sense? I don't necessarily know that it does, but that's all what contributes to all these questions. And it can be a frustrating experience for administrators, I'm sure.
1-1 on Adam here. Trying to drive in possibly his 7th run, waiting on second base with Jordan Pontius. Here's the 1-1. Change up high. Has not been able to locate the changeup for strikes so far here tonight. He's thrown it a little bit more than we've seen in past games. Came in at just 7%. Has gotten 18% swings and misses on it. Swing and a miss there. And that's the fastball poured up high.
I think he's tried to go to the changeup a little bit more today because he was struggling with the curveball early on. I think traditionally it's something he just uses against lefties more so than anything else, but has found that curveball last couple innings.
Hodo. For the second out, it will advance the runner Pontius to third base. Xavier Warren now with a chance to knock in a run. It's been a little bit more station to station here lately for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. They got their first run and only run into the fourth out the home run by Riley Mahalik. Unicorns tonight have seen some base runners themselves. They've had 4 in the last 4 in total, but have not been able to move it along against Goatsees. He's looked really strong here tonight. First pitch curveball in at 77. Sliced past the diving glove of Bethencourt. Pontius is going to score, and Xavier Warren has himself another RBI.
They're happy to get that insurance run, and another nice approach, nice swing by Xavier Warren. He's looked really good tonight.
How much work do you see yourself doing as a catcher when there's not a game in terms of preparing? Do you think that goes into it as well in terms of him maybe not hitting as well as they thought coming into pro ball? I know the pitching certainly is another adjustment, and that's something that we also talked with Justin about before the game. He said, look, you look at these starters, and overall, you know, this is what you could be seeing low A to high A in terms of a full rotation staff.
Well, yeah, if you see Ty Hensley one night, and you see Garrett Chrisman the next night, and then you see Don Goodson, and you see Jamon Taylor, you know, it doesn't matter who, but there's a lot of guys that could certainly be at that level, no question about it. As far as the catching goes, you know, I think that depends. If there's a team practice, then yeah, the catchers end up catching a lot of bullpens usually, a lot of side sessions, so a lot of time and effort goes into that. As far as just working on your craft with catching on non-game days, I don't know that that's something that a lot of guys do frequently, but I think in the case of Xavier Warren, it's definitely possible because he's still in that phase of learning a new position.
There's not a lot of dry land, quote, things you can do, right?
You can do some things with receiving, some drills, some blocking drills, certainly. You know, you can work on getting rid of the ball throwing-wise.
He's in motion here. Not a great jump, and a good job by Finney to get a quick exchange down to Hovey to complete the third out of the inning. Ty Hensley gives up another run, his fourth given up this year, or this game, I should say. That's why it's 4-0 Hoppers.
At midnight, when the ATM cruelly devours your card. At 6 a.m., when your credit goes down the drain. Or at 10 p.m., when you realize your credit card went on vacation without you. Michigan First is here. With our 24-hour call center, online banking with live chat, mobile banking, and branches near you. Michigan First. You have our attention 24/7.
I enjoy renovating my home, so getting materials with my Chevy Silverado is a daily trip. But as the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever, it's perfect for all my projects. And with the most functional bed of any pickup, plus the power-up down tailgate, my Silverado helps me with everything I need. Of course, a little assist from a friend doesn't hurt.
Lease a 2020 Silverado Custom Crew Cab 4-wheel drive for just $323 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
The Weingarts family is honored to be celebrating 75 years of helping families like yours with your lawn equipment needs. While the equipment has changed, our grandfather's founding values and commitment to quality still drive our business.
We carry top brands like Exmark, Toro, Honda, Cub Cadet, and more. See the full lineup at Weingarts.com.
Whether it's new equipment, parts, or service, we work to earn your trust in each of our 6 locations.
From our family to yours, thank you for letting us serve you.
Weingarts, everything from lawn to snow.
Noah Goetze's out for his 6th inning of work here tonight. Just 4 base runners, make it 5 to his credit, but he scattered them and for the most part has bared down when they have been on.
Sure has. There's not much to quibble with today as far as his performance goes. He had the one hit by pitch, but for the most part has commanded all of his pitches really well. Fastball, cutter, curveball, changeup. Has a nice tail on the two-seam fastball, so he's really done everything that he's set out to do tonight.
This is the longest outing and probably up there with one of the best outings we've seen by him this year. On the 21st of August, that is, versus these very Unicorns, had 5 innings, 1 hit, 3 walks to 7 Ks. So if not for the 3 walks, maybe you say that one's better, but tonight he's done a great job.
It's his first chance to get through 6, so he's got to go through the heart of the order, though.
Aaron Takis looks at strike 1, strikeout, and a ground out for Takis so far today. Robbed a home run earlier, otherwise this game could be 5-0. Really nice play, stretching that glove of the right field wall. Goetze's really hasn't gotten deep in a lot of counts here today. 2-3 ball counts, that's back in the 3rd. But other than that, he's made quick work of these hitters so far. 2-seamer rose above. 2-2 on Takis. It's him, Bethencourt, and Curry. Your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up. Filthy. At 77, the curveball there.
Filthy and well located. There's not much you can do with that pitch.
His 3rd strikeouts. Back-to-back, going back to the 5th inning where he faced 4, had a 1-out hit batter. It was Jordan Finney. They just want him to be a little bit smoother in terms of his delivery, and the umpire calls time for the catcher. I don't know.
I don't know. It was not sure who requested that.
He patted Xavier Warren's helmet there. Fresh count to Dominic Bethencourt. 0-0 as this one remains inside, and some of that crisper nature that they're looking for out of this delivery goes back to some of the things we've already talked about, how he kind of became upper body dominant after leaving here. And they thought that, you know, his strength, one of his strengths last year was how well he used his lower half and kind of put everything together.
That helps with a lot of things. Helps you maximize your velocity. It helps you stay healthy because you're not overstraining your arm.
2 strikes on Bethencourt now.
That's why pitchers work their legs so much. They do a lot, a lot for leg strength, including a lot of running.
Another curveball on the ground. Good play by Hoover. Backs up, spins. What a dart over to first base as well.
That's a professional player right there.
Putting on a defensive clinic is that man right there.
Bethencourt with nothing to show for it, but he's really had 3 pretty good at-bats. Deep fly ball to right, well hit ball to left, and then that ball that could have easily been up the middle.
Coley Curry, another hit here tonight. He's hit nearly .330 his last 10 games as he'll extend that stretch. Hits in 8 of his last 11. Breaks up the 1-2-3 bid here in the 6th. You saw Raven Martin was throwing down in the pen for the Diamond Hoppers. Looks like Nolan Clenny continues to warm for the Unicorns. So would you see Clenny go 1 and then maybe, I don't know who after that?
Well, they may not need anyone after that.
That's true. What am I saying here?
They would like to need somebody after that, but the odds don't favor it.
just trying to get you to that point, I guess, with your best arm out of the bullpen.
And they're trying to get him a certain amount of work, I think. Same with Raven Martin. You know, it's certainly possible, I think, for Goatsies to throw a complete game.
One swing of the bat by this man, though, can change fortunes. Split the lead right in half with 2 outs here in the 6th. Coley Curry now in scoring position at second base. Jordan Hovey, your Zach Hart agency man on deck. Waiting in the 1-2. This is a big pitch. Curveball low. He's thrown that a little bit more in this inning than we've really seen all game in stretches.
He has.
But when you're ahead in count for the most part and cruising by, you don't need a lot of your secondary pitches. Getting contact outs. .73 pitches deep in this outing. 82 is his high this season. That was back in that 5-inning, 1-hit, no-run performance that we described. Full count delivery is low. And on the escape, Curry ranges to first base, so now things getting a little pretentious here in the 6th inning.
Couple left-handed hitters coming up here. I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Noce doesn't fool around, brings in Raven Martin, the left-hander.
And he's doing just that, it seems like, unless it's just a visit.
It could be, but that would surprise me. Got a pretty good left-handed pitcher down there that's loose.
Slow walk to the mound here. And it looks like...
Yeah, it looks like he's coming. Or he's at least walking toward the gate, that's for sure.
Maybe not.
Look at that. Gonna let him try to finish this inning.
So maybe just feeling him out. Here with 2 outs. Runners on first and third, and Jordan Hovey up at the dish. He's 0 for 2 today. Got on base in the 2nd via the fielder's choice. Got a pop out in the 4th as well. Let's see if Goatsies can get through 6 for the first time this year.
Well, I can promise you this. If he gets on base, Goatsies will not face Seth Strong as the tying run at the plate. I would take that to the bank.
Yeah, potentially a run in, maybe more at that point. Strong with some power. We've already seen it. Here's the 0-1. Big swing and a miss at an 89-mile-per-hour fastball there.
Well, even if you were to walk him here and the bases would be loaded, still 4-0, Strong would be the tying run at the plate, and I don't think they would mess around with that. Not with his home run power.
So 0-2 quickly on this Unicorn shortstop. Popped him up. Hoover read it well. Got straight to the outfield. Grass calls everybody off and is able to collect out number 3 here in the 6th inning. That's a big out for Noah Goatsies and company. He pitches well here today and strands a couple singles in the 6th.
Looking for a great rate on a new vehicle? Introducing our credit union's Drive promotion with rates as low as 1.89% and no payments for 90 days. Or refinance and save on your current auto loan with our 1% lower guarantee. You can now get pre-approved and close a loan remotely with our convenient online application process. Stop in today or visit ourcuonline.org/drive to drive away happy.
Upcoming games brought to you by Motor City Casino Hotel. Tomorrow, the Mammoths and the Beavers going at it. Then on Saturday, another double dip starting at 5:30, 5:20 pregame here on the USPBL Network. It's the Beavers and the Hoppers. And Sunday, we'll sort of finish out the week, but Monday, we got another game.
Mm-hmm. And keep in mind, we got 3 Saturday doubleheaders left for this season, and they are all Hoppers and Beavers. So that'll be an interesting little rivalry to follow. Seems like the Beavers caught the majority of the doubleheaders this year, didn't they?
Yeah, they're the doubleheader machine, especially early on. We're not able to sweep the last one.
They had a shot at it.
Yeah, it came close. Nolan Clenny, your Hoffman Dental pitching change here in the 6th inning, just trying to keep this game right where it is. Probably disappointed his offense couldn't pick him up a run or two. Zach Gray, Riley Mahalik, Greg Vaughn Jr. Your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up here.
Well, in addition to Ty Hensley, this guy, Nolan Clenny, is right up there as far as someone who could find the Ray in affiliated ball real soon.
1.69 ERA, but that's, not indicative of what he has done this year. It's still good, but it was nearly perfect throughout the beginning part of this season. His last appearance, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned. Gave up a home run. Just 11 pitches overall. Clean start in between that one and the one on the 21st versus these very Diamond Hoppers. Gave up 2 runs there. But they view this guy as probably the second best ready arm in the USPBL this year to move on. Him and Ty Hensley right up there. First time we've really seen Hensley scuffle through multiple innings. I mean, he's had the 1 inning or so that we've talked about throughout the year and kind of turned it back around, but didn't have that sharp curveball all night. He did have a couple stretches in the game where the good curve came out. Tried to go to the changeup, but couldn't really throw that for strikes, but sure they'll get to work with some tweaks on him and
there's Dugan Darnell.
Get him back into it.
Looks like Raven Martin's going to sit down. He was ready just in case he was needed in the 6th, but they'll hand it to the closer for the 7th.
It's funny because you hear what they talk about with Ty Hensley and, the minor tweaks, and that's what they are at this point because they've obviously tweaked his delivery to the point where they feel comfortable and they've shown that he's going to remain healthy, throughout a full season last year and a full season nearly this year. But they say everything is almost perfect in his bullpens. Mm-hmm. Just something, whatever it is, that when he gets on the hill, maybe just not as sharp. This one inside 3-2, and we're talking about a guy who entered play here today with a .59 ERA. So on no means are we harping on him.
Yeah, it's tough to quibble with that.
It's almost, that you run out of good things to say. As silly as that sounds.
You start to nitpick.
There's a fly ball hooking away foul.
One of those days when you had someone in the booth for an inning to talk to them about their business. I was taking a very short walk on the concourse there, and there was a foul ball, and it one-hopped and smacked right into a car.
Really?
Yeah, it's the first time I had seen that. Of course, I don't get out there to look at that area too much, but and you could almost see it happened fast, but you could almost see in the driver's face that look of what the heck happened. What was that?
I feel like we've seen less and less balls get out of the stadium. Early on, I feel like it was happening all the time. I mean,
although I think we paid attention to it more early on because we were, broadcasting from the stands.
That's
at that
true.
time.
That's true. Credit to Mr. Zielinski and Mr. Orenda for allowing us to step into their office literally for these games.
Commandeer their booth.
This one blocked in the dirt. Jordan Finney can't keep it all the way in front of him. Mahalik able to take second base here. 1-1 on Greg Vaughn Jr. we're seeing a lot more fans in the actual stands this year. Not necessarily more people in the building. It's just that, you know, the season ticket holders may be having more of those exclusive areas. Now the slate open a little bit to.
I think some of the season ticket holders were, I think, unsure early on as to whether or not they wanted to come out to the games, and started to get back to us pretty readily that they did want to come out. Some did not. Some are waiting for 2021. That's certainly okay with us. Had a similar conversation with my Detroit Lions ticket rep recently, just in my personal life.
3-1 in there for strike two. Nice slider there from Nolan Clenny. The slider and the fastball, certainly his bread and butter. Does throw a change 15% of the time. The fastball, four-seam variety, 43%. The slider, 41%. Here's the 3-2. Popped him up. Takis, Snyder, and Hodo all have a long run, and none of them are going to get to it. That doghouse right there is kind of no man's land, it seems, here at Jimmy John's Field. Trevor McKinley, your Zach Hart agency man on deck. In the sixth inning, Greg Vaughn Jr. in the fourth came around to score on his walk. Also hit a ball pretty well. In the second, it was lined to Takis out there. Only one strike away from his second out. Not so, it's a walk. This is a hitter you didn't necessarily want to see in this spot. Already down 4-0. 7 hits on the board for the Utica Unicorns as Donald Goodson begins to tune up here. Comedis, Ellis, Goodson, Clenny, Dawson, and Shanahan, the expected available arms here tonight for Jim Essien. And it's becoming less clear who's necessarily going to pitch and who's going to start in these games, because it's for the most part coming from these managers.
Yeah,
more so
I don't
than
think I don't think they plan as far ahead of time as it was early in the season, where it was more of a administrative type decision. You can kind of start to get a feel for it, though. You know, if you look at each of these clubs, now that we know who's on the pitching staff for each of these teams, that certainly helps.
And Paul Noce is happy to see Goatsees go 6 here tonight, because he's got 5 games this week. 1 yesterday, 1 tonight, 2 on Saturday in a couple days, and 1 on Monday. This week is taken with a grain of salt. We look at weeks in terms of stretches of games, I guess, just because how this league runs. Most likely in that doubleheader, you'll see Quincy Jones, Austin Atwood kind of combined together. Maybe even Nick Leo starting game 2 of the doubleheader. And with the runner occupied on first base, McKinley has nowhere to go, and that's the second out here in the 6th inning. But when you look at this Hoppers team, it's not clear who would necessarily be your third starter. And when you talk about the playoffs, if by chance this Hoppers team is the 3rd or 4th seed, to win a championship, you have to play 3 days in a row. So you have to kind of identify that guy. And it could be Nick Leo going forward.
I think Jamon Taylor starting to settle in as a starter. Certainly Goatsees is. I think Zane Collins was expected to be one at the beginning, but maybe not as much lately.
Oh, 1 in there for strike 2. 0-2 on Jake Hoover now. He's made some outstanding defensive plays here tonight. One of his best to turn a double play. Talk about Leo potentially starting some games down the stretch. Started 14 for Western Michigan his junior campaign. Spent 3 years at Western. There's a hot shot down the right field line. That's just going to scoot foul. Boy, Hoover's starting to swing the bat a little bit better, too.
He is. You can see it.
So 14 starts, 17 appearances for Leo at Western in 2018. And then moving on to the minors last year in low A ball with Texas. But he had a 3.70 ERA his junior year with the Broncos. 82 innings, 36 walks to 85 strikeouts. Won 4 ball games in total. Winning another 0-2. Swing and a miss. Solid slider to get back-to-back strikeouts here in the 6th inning. Allows a pair of base runners on the single and the walk, but that's it against Nolan Clunny. Time for your Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers race.
Those Motor City wheels are messing around, waiting to get the call to go downtown. La 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 taking some time and having some fun, waiting to get the call that it's time to run.
Holy Hot Rods, it's race time. Chevy Detroit wheels, start your engines.
Well, it was a 3-horse race yesterday.
How many we got?
You got Bel Air, and it's another 3-man race.
I'm going to go Shelley Chevelle today.
Here today. So Shelley coming up on the outside, and this usually works for PD Pickup here.
I guess Petey's just sitting back loading after his victory yesterday. Come on, Shelley. Make the turn.
Well, it might be a neck-and-neck fight here to the end.
Come on, Shelley. Lean forward a little bit. There you go. All right. This is definitely the first time I've got it right 2 games in a row.
You're much better with the trivia.
I am, generally speaking.
On to try to close it out. Not a safe situation, but still high leverage for Rabin Martin here tonight. Noah Goetzies goes 6. Looks sharp here tonight. And when it looked like he may be wavering just a little bit in the 6th, a pair of singles with 2 outs, Paul Nochi came out to diagnose if he thought he could go another batter. He said yes, and he, in the end, stamped a good decision for Paul.
He did. I was surprised. I thought he was going to go to the left-hander in that situation. He had a lefty at the plate and a power lefty on deck.
Apologize, I said it was Raven Martin. It's Jugan Darnell. We saw Martin warming up, but Dan pointed out that Dugan ended up coming up after that, after Raven was not needed in the 6th inning. Dugan, 0.39 ERA coming into play today. That's through 17 appearances. Has 2 saves on the year, 21 1/3 innings. 16 walks to 17 strikeouts.
Was part of that combined no-hitter at the All-Star game as well.
First pitch in for strike 1 on Seth Strong. He's 0 for 2 today, but this is a bat that you would have loved to see if you're the Unicorns in the 6th with some base runners on. They look like they might get something brewing with 2 outs. They've had base runners all night, just haven't been able to capitalize on them thus far. 2 in the 2nd. They had a runner in scoring position there. 1 to start the 3rd before the outstanding Hoover double play. A single in the 4th, hit by pitch in the 5th, and 2 singles, like we told you, in the 6th. And trying to make quick work of Seth Strong as he's got him with 2 strikes.
Unicorns have had some good swings, hitting a lot of balls hard at people, and they've lacked that big hit today for sure.
Fastball, curveball, splitter. The arsenal for Darnell.
That was the splitter there. I think the curveball has really been the pitch that's improved from beginning of the season to now.
Has a 2-game hitless streak and 2 innings of work.
Really attacked the hitter there. Aside from the one splitter down, he went right after him with the fastball.
He's gone 7 in a row without giving up a run. His last run was back on the 7th of August, where he pitched 2 against the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers and allowed just 1 hit but walked 4. But before that, 2 outings ago, allowed no runs as well. So in his last 10, just 2 total, or 1 total run, I beg your pardon, 4 hits through 12 innings. That's impressive work. Nice bite.
Yes, that was a splitter again, I believe. Bottom really fell out of that one.
Average velocity of 82.5, and it was right there. Here's a 0-2. Swing and a miss at 70 miles an hour. He pulled the string on the curveball for out number 2.
That's the first one he's thrown, too. Came right out. Came right out with the curve. Nasty.
And now John Hodo will try to salvage this game. Bottom of the order here again tonight for Jim Essie, and he had to walk back in the 3rd. First pitch to Hodo, fouled back in a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. The wind has since settled down a little bit from where we started.
Here comes the split again. Yep, didn't have the release point on that one.
Frankie Luska, your Zach Hart agency man on deck here in the 7th. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Top 3 in the order are combined 0 for 9. You look at any parts of the order, it's not too pretty, but
right.
The middle by far has had the best day. They've got 3 singles, make it 4 singles actually in total. 2 for Curry and 2 for Snyder.
Darnell starting to miss glove side here a little bit.
The big breath. 3-1 on John Hodo. He's walked 2 times this year compared to 4 strikeouts. Another good rip.
Dugan did a nice job centering himself there. Took a deep breath, slowed everything down.
Seventh inning today brought to you by our credit union in Summit Oral. 2 strikeouts in a row by Dugan Darnell to begin this potentially closing situation. Here's the full count pitch. Swing and a miss! Strikes out the side with the fist pump. And that nearly perfect ERA continues to get slimmer.
Nice game for the Diamond Hoppers all the way around. You know, you certainly look at the start by Goetze and how strong he was. Darnell putting it away late. From an offensive standpoint, they got all they needed. Home run from Mahalik, some nice swings from Xavier Warren, and this is a club that can now say that they're in first place.
6 points. They elevate themselves over the Unicorns, who checked into play this week with an automatic 3 points because of their regular season champion status. Overall, this is going to be a team to watch with all the bats they have, and Goetze starting to settle into a role, and Jamon Taylor starting to settle into a role as well. They have all these games this week, 5, or I guess 4 technically out of the remaining 8, because the doubleheaders don't count necessarily, the first game of the doubleheader, towards the point system and the record. But nonetheless, big time victory again for these Diamond Hoppers here tonight. Your final thoughts?
You know, you mentioned the starters that are starting to settle in, and they also have a solid bullpen, but what I really pull away from this game is Xavier Warren's at-bats really looked a lot better today. If that's a trend that can continue, that's going to be huge for this Diamond Hoppers team. He had nice swings. He let the ball travel, didn't try to do too much, and just hit it where it was pitched. He looked really good.
Chelsea Estes will be back with us on the United Shore Media Desk in our Auto Lab post-game show to catch up with our Michigan surgery specialist player of the game. We'll see who she has.
on the sideline, warming up the benches. Need a lesson? I can show you, I can teach ya. You see a diamond hopper fan, point 'em out. Ayy, fly ball, catch a frog, walk it out. Ayy, every time you score, I'm throwing up my diamond. Both hands in the air, same timing. Let's rock. Diamond hoppers, Eastside diamond hoppers. Diamond hoppers, we the Eastside diamond hoppers. Diamond hoppers, Eastside diamond hoppers. Diamond hoppers, we the Eastside diamond hoppers.
One thing that makes Detroit Mercy unique and different from other universities is that the faculty truly care about you and they're always there to help. Whether it's asking questions after class or going into the office hours, they're always there to lend a hand and really make you feel at home.
People are here to work together, and whether you have a question or you're discussing topics within the class, you can go up to your professor and they know your name. They're just willing to help you become a better overall student.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
When you are in need of air conditioning services, turn to the experienced professionals at McQuaid Heating and Cooling, Plumbing and Refrigeration. Since 1970, we've been delivering high-quality air conditioning installation and repair services. Call for a free estimate today. Let us help you be cool and comfortable. For comprehensive HVAC services, contact McQuaid Heating and Cooling, Plumbing and Refrigeration today.
Hi, I am Allison with the Sports Performance Tip of the Game, brought to you by DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With so many options to choose from for a drink after a strenuous workout, which would you choose from? A, chocolate milk, B, a sports drink, or C, a soda? Well, if you said chocolate milk, you are correct. Chocolate milk is packed with carbohydrates and proteins and is a great option to replenish the fuel needed after a very hard workout or competition. It has double the value of a lot of the normal water or sports drinks and is a great option. Within 15 to 20 minutes after your workout is a very important time to replenish the fuel and set you up for success for that next training session.
That's awesome.
So don't forget to reach for a nice cold glass of chocolate milk after your workout.
Bye guys, drive safe.
Want to hit your home cleanup project out of the park? Well, making sure that your driveway is safe from damage? Rent a rubber-wheeled trailer from GFL and keep all of your bases covered. Our trailers come in 20 and 30-yard sizes for all your cleanup needs. Call GFL today to order your driveway-safe rubber-wheeled trailer. Team GFL, helping you win your cleanup project.
Catch the Chevy Equinox at your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Lease a 2020 Equinox LT front-wheel drive for just $261 a month for 36 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for, when you want it, and how you want it. We're ready.
Last year, Belfour did 114,000 different jobs around the world. We've been to floods, fires, tornado sites, earthquakes, where people have lost everything. Yes, your homes can be rebuilt, and yes, your businesses will be rebuilt, but most importantly, your lives will be rebuilt. There's nothing that we cannot fix, and we believe that.
It's our pictures.
To me, that's Belfour. At Belfour, we're restoring more than property.
Noah Goetze's with a clean start here today. 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, as we welcome you back to the Autolab post-game show here from Jimmy John's Field in Utica, Michigan. At the plate, though, Riley Mahalik had a good day. Chelsea's with him at the desk. Chelsea?
Yeah, my dog eats all my shoes, so.
Yeah, well, we have a 3-year-old German Shepherd, and it's 24/7 playtime.
Oh my God, yes. I have a brand new puppy. He's 5 months old, and it's the same, but he's a puppy. Right now? Oh.
No, but look-handed.
Welcome back, everyone. I am here with the player of the game. The end of the game recap, it's sponsored by Autolab, and the player of the game, Riley Mahalik, is sponsored by Michigan Surgery Specialist tonight. Riley, it's nice to see you back here at the desk. It's been a minute. So
Thank you.
Tonight was a fantastic win for the Hoppers. A good Eastside Unicorns Hoppers matchup, and you guys really looked like a playoff hungry team tonight. I mean, you especially. You were 3 for 3. You had 1 home run, 2 runs.
Thank you.
Talk about your success that you found this season.
So I worked pretty hard this offseason trying to change up my swing, make myself a little more viable for the season, a little more play in my swing. Just happened to get into some good baseballs tonight.
Absolutely, you did. It was fun to watch you really come into your groove tonight. We loved it. Playoff push is right around the corner. Playoffs are 3 weeks away, and the Hoppers are not giving up. So really, kind of, what is the Hoppers' approach for these next few weeks?
We've come together as a team like crazy. This is honestly the most fun that I've had on a team in a very long time. We're a really tight-knit group, and it's really fun playing for each other. That's where we're at right now, is we're in it for each other right now.
That's such a great mentality. You can really see it, too. When you hit your home run, I mean, everyone's out there cheering. I mean, I'm over here on the opposite side of the field, and you could hear all the cheers, and it sounds like a fun little party over there.
It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun out here.
I think that's half the battle, that team connection. And
Absolutely.
That's great. You can totally feel it. I love it. So this is your second season here.
Okay.
So what has been one of your fondest memories of being at this ballpark?
My fondest memory being at the ballpark was probably last game, actually. Our instructional coach, Dan Jipping, we were chirping at him to take some BP swings, and his first swing, he gets up, puts a ball off the batter's eye in center field. Everyone's screaming, throwing their bats, we're yelling. We have a running joke that we're restarting the Mongolian Empire, so a lot of Mongolian screams out there tonight.
Okay, Daniel, I hope you've heard this. You've really made the impact. I'll love to hear that. But one of, I guess, think the biggest questions I've had for you all season are the headbands.
The headbands.
Let's talk about these headbands.
All right. Well, the one I'm wearing right now is Gritty, the Philadelphia Flyers mascot. The Flyers are actually playing tonight, elimination game against the Islanders. Let's go Fly Guys. And obviously the redhead, red beard. When Gritty came out, I kind of got called Gritty a lot by my college teammates, so I just kind of took it on. And then the other one I have, a green one, that's the Philly Fanatic. I'm a big Philly sports fan. And I saw Bryce Harper do it, and he's really cool, so I copied him.
Of course, why not?
Obviously.
It's such a statement piece. I love it. You make it, you rock it really well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, everyone. Riley Mahalik, the Michigan Surgery Specialist, player of the game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice to see you guys. All right, Jeremy and Dan, back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. I like the headband there that
I do too.
Mahalik has, the bandana, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But a good inning, couple innings for him at the plate for Riley Mahalik here today. And if he can do that going forward, that's going to be a big boost offensively for this Diamond Hopper squad.
Right out of the gate, when the Hoppers were in first place and clicking a little bit more offensively, Riley was a big part of that. He was a big contributor from an RBI standpoint. It seemed like he was always up there with a couple guys on base, making good contact, putting good swings on the ball, and now he's could be the centerpiece for that again for a team that's in first place right now.
There you go. There's the point system. Unicorns with the automatic 3. They lose for the first time tonight playing under that system. The Beavers with 1 loss, 7 games remaining, and the Mammoths still looking to get a crack at things here in the push to the playoffs presented by Scott. Your standings is every game. We thank you for tuning in here tonight, on the air again at 6:50 tomorrow night. Have a great night, everybody.